Like I said, folks, it's got to be Jarrett, and there's a reason for that. Again, it goes back to the fact that here's a guy that when you go back almost, 6 years ago, didn't want Hulk Hogan in TNA. He didn't. And he's always held a grudge towards Hulk Hogan for a while. And think about it this way, folks. Why would he join Immortal at Bound for Glory? Doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? What, he wants to join Immortal because he's mad at Dixie Carter for kicking him out? That doesn't make sense. Folks, what it is that he's got there's something more planned to it. And again, there's a method to Teenage Madness, and the method for Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle is this. Karen Jarrett's going to be revealed as a power-hungry gold digger that doesn't care about anybody but herself, doesn't care about the kids, doesn't care about Jeff, only about herself and what she gets out of it. In other words, be revealed as a gold-digging whore. And second of all, Jeff Jarrett down the line is going to probably be revealed as the guy that's been smartening up the network. This is all to turn Jeff Jarrett face. Because what is Jeff Jarrett? Because here's the thing. I want you to think about this, folks. What does Jeff Jarrett and Fortune have in common? What do they have in common? They are TNA originals. That's what they are. He's the founder of the company. He's an original part of TNA. Same as Fortune. They're an original part of TNA. That's why this is happening. That's why I feel it's got to be him. It just makes sense, folks. Now, as far as the main events went, well, first of all, before I talk about that, as far as Jeff Jarrett and Kurt Angle goes, there will be one more match. This is the kind of storyline that you have to take maybe almost a few pay-per-views, almost the first half of the year worth of pay-per-views to finish. And they're going to finish it at Slammiversary if they don't finish it at Sacrifice. That's what's going to happen. Now, again, like I said, it's all going to go towards the fact it's going to be because they want to turn Jeff face. And like I said, there's two possible reasons. One, revealing Karen as nothing more than a power-hungry, gold-digging whore that doesn't care about anybody but herself and what she gets out of it. And second, possibly reveal Jeff as the person that's been smartening up the network. Just a thought, people. Just a thought. That's my opinion. These are just my opinions, people. You're entitled to comment if you want, but this is just what I'm thinking. Now, moving on to the other main events. The three-way for the TNA title, of course, was won by Sting. Hogan tried to go down there and help RVD by giving him a pipe. RVD didn't want nothing to do with it. Anderson took advantage of the pipe, but then he got Scorpion Death dropped. But here's the thing, folks. Some people have noticed this. Some people at PWI Torch have noticed this. I'm pretty sure Shrek Daddy's noticed this. I'm pretty sure Steve Breach has noticed this. I'm pretty sure Jeff Meacham has noticed this. I'm pretty sure everybody's noticed this. And that is, it looks like TNA is teasing a Hogan-Sting match. Why? Why would you tease that? I mean, the match they had 14 years, almost 14 years ago, 13 and a half years ago was great. Why would you put him in another match in TNA? 13 years past, 13 years afterwards. Well, folks, I hate to say it, but since Eric Bischoff has become the executive producer, you know where I'm going with this, right? If Eric Bischoff has any say, he still believes that if you put a title on Hulk Hogan, your company's going to soar to new heights. And unfortunately, that's what it looks like it's going to be. Sting versus Hogan, TNA World Heavyweight Championship on the line. And believe me, folks, You know, I'm a fan of Sting. I've been a fan of Sting for a long time. I'm a fan of Hogan. I've been a Hulkamaniac, an NWO Hollywoodite, you know, an NWO Wolfpack follower, you know, for a long time. But honestly, today people do not want to see that match. That would be the equivalent of Hogan Warrior from Halloween Havoc, and it's, according to many, that stunk up the joint. That's what it would be. The equivalent of Hogan Warrior at Halloween Havoc, which stunk up the joint. That would be the equivalent, ladies and gentlemen, of Bret Hart, Vince McMahon, plus, according to many, Michael Cole, Jerry Lawler matches at the WrestleMania matches put together. That would be the equivalent of it. I mean, I'm not trying to say Hogan still probably can't go if he's getting in ring shape again, but come on. People do not want to see this. I'm telling you what's going to happen. This match takes place in the Impact Zone and Slammiversary. They're going to boo the hell out of that match. They're going to boo the hell out of it. I mean, yeah, they'll be happy if Sting wins and like, yay, Sting won, he beat Hogan, Hogan's gone. The truth is they're not going to look forward to it, folks. They're not. And if you're building this towards Battle for Glory, well, whatever the hell that's going to be, if you think that's going to sell out the arena, you're wrong. Now, I know people may say, well, this is not the same Sting as it was back in WCW. That Sting didn't talk for about 18 months, and he was very silent, very crow-like. This is a this is a different Sting. This is a guy that's a combination of the old Sting and the Crow Sting and blah blah blah. Guess what? Just because he's a combination of both doesn't mean it's going to make any difference. All right? Yeah, sure. You want to probably think, well, you probably want to think, well, TNA probably wants to do this because they want to be known, along with WCW, as the only companies to put these two in the ring together. WWE never did it. Of course WWE never did it. And if they did, they'd only do it once and that's it, but they'd make sure both guys were in perfect ring shape. They wouldn't have them competing in the ring. Alright? You know, the same thing with, WWE did with Triple H and Undertaker. They didn't have Triple H and Undertaker competing that much in the ring before their match at WrestleMania this year, and you know what? The match was phenomenal. Look, the thing is, after last night, when Hogan says on my time, and then Sting says the same thing on Impact this past Thursday, you know where this is heading. You know where this is heading. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the Lethal Lockdown match. I saw some of this match, and I have to say it was great. The build-up was great. Now, apparently what they did was, they kind of, knowing Bischoff being, like I say, him being the executive producer, he went back to a format that he felt was best. He went with the, let's have the teams outside the cage deal. Sort of like War Games. Now, I know you're thinking, well, he didn't do that they didn't do that last year. Well, of course they didn't do that last year, but here's the thing. I guess they wanted to try something different. And that's what they did. They tried something different by having the mat, by having it. I mean, basically what Lockdown is War Games with weapons. That's all it is. That's all it is. But TNA, give them credit, I think, for most of the Lethal Lockdown matches, they've had the superstars coming out individually when the time would come up. And that worked successfully, but I guess they wanted to try something a little different, go a little old school by having the competitors wait outside the ring. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking about this match. But overall, I thought it was pretty good. And I want you to notice something. You can definitely tell that Janice Carter is in charge now. Because Ric Flair didn't have his trunks on or anything. He had a t-shirt and pants on. That's kind of different for the Nature Boy, but, if it's the only way he's going to be able to work there, then so be it. But the rest of the match, I say, was pretty good. Daniels diving off the top of the cage, yeah, it was alright. Now I know you're thinking, well, the cage didn't look as, high or menacing. Oh no, it was still the same cage. But what it is, folks, is you're more used to seeing something happen on top of the cage, not somebody coming off. You know what I'm saying? Not being thrown off, but diving off. You're not used to seeing that. But overall, I thought it was okay. And again, the reason this match was last, folks, was real simple. The reason this match was last, folks, is real simple. It was the feud centered on for the past few months. It was the feud centered on since about February 3rd. It is the feud that's been centered on since Immortal joined together, since Immortal became a faction. It's basically been the feud that's been centered on since Hogan and Bischoff arrived. It just wasn't built up until now. See what I'm saying? So, overall, I thought it was a pretty good match. Again, TNA Lockdown, 2011, I haven't watched all of it yet, but from what I understand, people gave it a passing grade, about a B maybe, a B plus maybe, or an average B, I'm pretty sure people would give it. Maybe a B minus, between one of those three. But again, like I said, what comes out of it is the fact that the news that comes out of it is, basically the news that's come out of Lockdown is just more of the madness, is more of the method behind the madness at TNA. That's right. The news, the things that came out of it, are all part of that method that's behind TNA's madness. There's a reason Jeff won against Angle. Like I said, is to do a few things. Turn Jeff face eventually by revealing that Karen's nothing more than a power-hungry gold-digging whore, and probably reveal that he's the person smartening up the network. 2, as much as we hate to say it, they're trying to build toward maybe Hogan and Sting real soon, hopefully just for one match, and that being for the TNA title. And 4, you want to put an emphasis on those that built TNA from the beginning. You don't want to put an emphasis on the group that's basically nothing more than former WWE superstars. You want to put an emphasis on the group that built the company from the beginning. You want to make stars out of them. You want to make, well, they are stars, but you want to reinvent them. You want to make them major players, so you give them the win. So again, there's a method, and you want to keep the momentum going to eventually Immortal probably has to disband and split up. So again, and probably find out the truth that the only reason Hogan's using them or has them around is to help him eventually become champion. So there's a method to the madness, and like I said, some of the things that I've mentioned are all part of it. So that's all I'm going to say on TNA Lockdown. Like I said, I didn't watch all of it. These are just my thoughts on what I've seen and heard. Tell me what you guys think down below, and I'll talk to y'all later.